Brazil is usually sold to the world in familiar images. Rio de Janeiro glowing under Christ the Redeemer, carnival feathers, soccer, the Amazon seen from above, and beaches so repeated they have almost become a logo. But that version of Brazil is only the front door. Behind it, there is another country, stranger, quieter, harder to reach. A Brazil of freshwater beaches in the middle of the jungle, dunes filled with blue lagoons, caves that swallow sunlight, villages at the end of sand roads, prehistoric walls, military islands, and landscapes so unreal that a photograph almost feels like a lie. So subscribe, because this is not a travel brochure. This is a countdown through 30 hidden places in Brazil that look impossible, until the map proves they are real. Number 30. Praia do Espelho, Bahia. On the southern coast of Bahia, Praia do Espelho looks almost too polished for the real world. At low tide, the sea pulls back and leaves behind natural mirrors between coral reefs, reflecting cliffs, coconut trees, and a sky that seems wider than it should be. From a photograph, it could pass for the Caribbean. But the illusion breaks when you try to get there. The access is part of the story. Dirt roads, tide schedules, expensive transfers, and a beach that changes personality depending on the hour. At the wrong tide, the mirror disappears. At the right one, the sand becomes a sheet of glass. It is beautiful, yes, but it is not effortless beauty. It is the kind Brazil hides behind bad roads and perfect timing. Number 29. Ilha do Campeche, Santa Catarina. Just off Florianopolis, Ilha do Campeche appears like a tropical postcard that somehow escaped the colder mood of southern Brazil. The water is absurdly transparent, the sand is pale, and the forested hills rise behind the beach like a guarded wall. But this is no ordinary beach island. Campeche holds archaeological sites, including rock inscriptions left by ancient peoples. Access is controlled, visitor numbers are limited, and trails are usually monitored. You can look, walk, swim, and admire, but not behave as if the island belongs to you. That is the strange charm of Campeche. It feels like paradise, but paradise with rules, guides, limits, and a memory carved into stone. Number 28. Lagoa do Caço, Maranhão. In the municipality of Primeira Cruz, Maranhão, Lagoa do Caço is the kind of place that makes you wonder how many landscapes Brazil has managed to keep off the national imagination. It is a freshwater lagoon surrounded by sand, vegetation, silence, and houses, standing close to the water like they have discovered a secret and decided not to advertise it. There is no ocean here, no famous promenade, no giant hotel skyline, just warm water, soft light, hammocks, small boats, and a feeling that the map has become lazy. Lagoa do Caço is not dramatic in the obvious way. Its power is quieter. It reminds you that in Brazil, even the middle of nowhere may have a beach. Number 27. Ponta do Corumbau, Bahia. Ponta do Corumbau is a geographic trick drawn in sand. South of Bahia, near the border with Espírito Santo's influence and close to the Paraxo territory, the beach stretches into the sea as a long sandbar that appears and disappears with the tide. At low tide, people walk out into the ocean on a pale strip of sand, with water on both sides, as if the coast has briefly decided to open a secret road. The name Corumbau is often translated from indigenous language as something like far from everything, and the place honors that idea. It is not just beautiful, it is temporary, and that makes it more powerful. You do not visit Corumbau. You catch it before the sea takes it back. Number 26. São Miguel dos Milagres, Alagoas. São Miguel dos Milagres sits on the north coast of Alagoas, in a region of reefs, natural pools, coconut groves, and villages that move at a speed tourism has not completely conquered. The sea can turn pale green and almost motionless, especially when the tide drops and the reef pools appear offshore. It looks simple from the road. Small houses, sandy lanes, church towers, fishing boats. Then the tide opens, and suddenly the coast becomes a shallow aquarium. The miracle is not that the place exists. The miracle is that, compared with so many famous Brazilian beaches, it still manages to feel like a whisper. And whispers, when surrounded by warm water, can be more seductive than shouting. Number 25. Alto do Chão, Pará. Alto do Chão is where Brazil confuses anyone who thinks paradise requires salt water. In western Pará, on the banks of the Tapajós River, white sand beaches rise during the dry season, surrounded by Amazonian forest and fresh water so clear in places that it looks like the sea forgot to be salty. The most famous image is Ilha do Amor, a sandbank that appears near the village when the river level falls. But the deeper magic is psychological. You are in the Amazon, one of the great symbols of dense forest and muddy rivers, and yet you are standing on a beach that could fool an ocean tourist from a distance. Alto do Chão is proof that Brazil does not follow its own clichés. Sometimes the beach is hidden inside the river. Number 24. Ilha de Boipeba, Bahia. Boipeba does not rush to receive you. To get there, most visitors need boats, transfers, patience, and acceptance that convenience ends before the island begins. Located in the Tinaré archipelago, south of Salvador, Boipeba has beaches, mangroves, natural pools, villages, and sandy paths where cars are not the main characters. Its beauty is not just in the water, it is in the slowness, in the way the day seems to be governed by tide, heat, and the sound of someone sweeping sand from a doorway. Boipeba is protected partly by geography and partly by inconvenience. And in a world that tries to make every paradise easy to package, inconvenience may be its last defense. Number 23. Val do Catimbau, Pernambuco. In the interior of Pernambuco, Val do Catimbau looks like a fragment of another continent dropped into Brazil's semi-arid northeast. Sandstone formations rise from the Caatinga like broken towers. The light is harsh, the vegetation is resistant, and the silence feels older than the roads. But Catimbau is not only a landscape, it is also an archaeological territory, with rock paintings and evidence of long human presence. What appears at first to be an empty desert-like valley is actually a vast archive of stone, wind, and memory. This is not the Brazil of tropical abundance. This is Brazil stripped down to bone, dust, and red walls. And somehow, in that dryness, it becomes monumental. Number 22. Canyon do Xingu, Sergipe, and Alagoas. The São Francisco River is already one of Brazil's great mythic rivers, but at Xingu, between Sergipe and Alagoas, it becomes cinematic. Green water cuts through red-orange canyon walls, creating a corridor that looks engineered for a Lost World film. The canyon's modern appearance is tied to the Xingu hydroelectric dam, which changed the river landscape and helped form the navigable waters tourists cross today. Boats slide between the cliffs, and the scale only becomes clear when people shrink into dots below the rock. It is beautiful, but not innocent. The water is calm because human engineering helped make it that way. Xingu is nature and infrastructure, spectacle and intervention, all reflected in the same green river. Number 21. Chapada das Mesas, Maranhão. In southern Maranhão, Chapada das Mesas rises with flat-topped formations, waterfalls, blue pools, and rock walls that look like ruined fortresses. It does not have the same international fame as other Brazilian chapadas. And that is exactly why it still feels like a discovery. There are places here where waterfalls fall into clear pools surrounded by forest, and others where the land opens into wide, dry, golden views. The name comes from the table-like plateaus, mesas of stone standing above the landscape. Chapada das Mesas is a reminder that Maranhão is not only dunes and lagoons. Inland, the state keeps another theater entirely: stone, water, heat, and horizons that seem to have been built for giants. Number 20. Buraco das Araras, Mato Grosso do Sul. Near Jardim in Mato Grosso do Sul, Buraco das Araras is visually brutal in the best possible way. A giant red sandstone sinkhole opening suddenly in the earth, filled with vegetation, water at the bottom, and the movement of macaws slicing through the air. The place is easy to understand at first glance. It is a hole, a huge one. But then the details arrive: the color of the rock, the echo of birds, the vertical walls, the feeling that the ground has collapsed, and life simply adapted to the wound. Visitors walk along controlled viewpoints because this is not a place for improvisation. The spectacle is in looking down. Buraco das Araras is not a cave, not a canyon, not a crater exactly. It is Brazil opening one eye in the earth and staring back. Number 19. Nobro, Mato Grosso. Nobros is often compared to Bonito, but that comparison can be unfair. It is not merely an alternative. It is its own world of transparent rivers, limestone-filtered water, fish moving like shadows over sand, and springs that turn swimming into floating through glass. Located in Mato Grosso, especially around Bom Jardim, Nobres offers flutuação experiences in places like Aquário Encantado and Rio Triste. The appeal is not adrenaline, it is surrender. You put your face in the water, stop trying to dominate the landscape, and let the current carry you. In a country famous for loud beaches and dramatic waterfalls, Nobor offers a quieter miracle: the sensation of flying slowly through a river. Number 18. Serra do Cipó, Minas Gerais. Serra do Cipó, in Minas Gerais, is a landscape of waterfalls, rocky fields, cerrado vegetation, mountain villages, and long roads that seem to move between stone and sky. It is close enough to Belo Horizonte to be reachable, but far enough in spirit to feel like another country. The region is part of the Espinhaço Range, an ancient mountain chain with extraordinary biodiversity. The fields bloom with small, tough flowers, the rivers cut through rock, and the waterfalls appear after trails that punish the careless and reward the patient. Serra do Cipó is not hidden because nobody knows it. It is hidden because many people underestimate it. They arrive expecting a weekend escape and find a mountain system with the patience of deep time. Number 17. La Pinha da Serra, Minas Gerais. La Pinha da Serra is a village where Minas Gerais seems to lower its voice. Stone houses, mountains, waterfalls, and the dark water of the reservoir create a landscape that feels suspended between abandonment and refuge. The village sits in the Serra do Cipó region, but its atmosphere is more intimate, more cinematic. The mountains stand close. The streets are quiet. At night, the sky can feel enormous, as if electricity and urgency have both failed to conquer the place. This is not a destination that overwhelms with one huge attraction. It works by accumulation: stone walls, cold water, slow food, trails, mist, and silence. La Pinha is proof that sometimes the hidden Brazil is not behind a fence, it is behind a slower rhythm. Number 16. Pitar, São Paulo. Petar, the Alto Ribeira Tourist State Park, is one of the great subterranean surprises of Brazil. Located in southern São Paulo state, near the border with Paraná, it protects Atlantic forest, rivers, waterfalls, and hundreds of caves in the Ribeira Valley. Here, the adventure changes direction. Instead of climbing to a viewpoint, you descend into darkness. Caves like Santana, Uro Grosso, and Agua Suja reveal chambers, underground rivers, stalactites, narrow passages, and the strange humility that comes when daylight is no longer in charge. Access is controlled for good reason. Caves are fragile, wet, slippery, and alive in ways tourists often forget. Pitar is a reminder that Brazil is not only vast above ground, it has secret architecture underneath. And if you are still here, subscribe, because clearly you have a healthy suspicion that the best places are not the ones with the biggest parking lots. Number 15. Ilha do Cardoso, São Paulo. At the southern edge of São Paulo state, Ilha do Cardoso feels like a borderland between forest, ocean, estuary, and time. Part of a state park, the island protects Atlantic forest, mangroves, dunes, beaches, and traditional communities. You do not simply arrive and consume it. Access is usually by boat from Cananéia, and the logic of the island is shaped by conservation. There are communities, guest houses, trails, dolphins in the surrounding waters, and long beaches where the emptiness feels deliberate. Ilha do Cardoso is beautiful because it is restricted. That may frustrate the impatient visitor, but it saves the place from becoming just another coastline with concrete dreams. Here, preservation is not decoration. It is the price of the view. Number 14. Caraíva, Bahia. Caraíva sits where river and sea meet in southern Bahia, and the arrival already feels like a small ritual. You cross the river by canoe, step onto sandy streets, and enter a village where cars are absent from the center, and time seems to drag its feet on purpose. The geography is theatrical. Dark river on one side, ocean on the other, colorful houses, boats, sand, horses, and a night sky that feels closer because the village refuses certain modern excesses. But Caraíva is not untouched. It is famous, desired, and increasingly expensive. Its secret is not invisibility anymore. Its secret is the fragile tension between simplicity and popularity. It looks like the end of the road, but it is also a warning. Even hidden places can become fashionable before they are understood. Number 13. Atins, Maranhão. Atins feels like the map running out of pavement. Located at the edge of Lençóis Maranhenses National Park, where dunes, lagoons, river, sea, and wind collide, the village is reached by boat, sandy tracks, or long transfers that remind you comfort is not the local language. The streets are sand, the wind is constant. Kite surfers cross the horizon. Beyond the village, the white dunes begin, and after the rains, freshwater lagoons appear like blue interruptions in a desert that is not really a desert. Atins is not the most obvious entrance to Lençóis. That is its advantage. It feels less like arriving at an attraction and more like reaching a frontier post at the edge of a dream. Number 12. Delta do Parnaíba, Piauí, and Maranhão. The Delta do Parnaíba is one of the rare great open-sea deltas of the Americas, a labyrinth where river, ocean, mangrove, dunes, islands, and wildlife mix in a geography that refuses straight lines. Between Piauí and Maranhão, boats move through channels that split and rejoin like veins. There are sand dunes, fishing communities, iguanas, birds, crabs, and the famous scarlet ibis, whose red flocks can turn the sky into a moving wound at sunset. The delta is not a single viewpoint. It is a system. You cannot understand it from one photograph. You have to enter the channels, feel the tide, lose the horizon, and accept that here, the land is not completely land, and the river is already thinking about becoming sea. Number 11. Jalapão Tocantins, Jalapão is not hidden because nobody talks about it. It is hidden because it still makes you work. In eastern Tocantins, the region is famous for golden dunes, waterfalls, canyons, and fervaduros, clear springs where the pressure of underground water makes it almost impossible to sink. But the road is part of the initiation. Long dirt routes, remote communities, heat, dust, and distances that punish bad planning. Jalapão is not a place you casually add to an afternoon. The reward is surreal. Dunes glowing at sunset, water bubbling from below, Cerrado stretching into emptiness, and nights where the stars seem aggressively present. Jalapão does not give itself easily. That is why, when it does, people remember. Number 10. Serras Gerais, Tocantins. If Jalapão is now the famous wild child of Tocantins, Serras Gerais feels like the secret sibling still standing in the shadows. In the southeast of the state, this region holds canyons, waterfalls, rock formations, natural pools, and communities that receive far less attention than they deserve. Places like Canyon Encantado and Lagoa da Serra show a Brazil of stone corridors, clear water, and empty space. The roads can be difficult, the structure limited, and the distances serious. But that is exactly the point. Serras Gerais feels like Jalapão before the mythology hardened around it, a place still being introduced to the outside world, and already old enough not to care. Number 9. Chapada dos Guimarães, Mato Grosso. Chapada dos Guimarães rises near Cuiabá, like a red wall at the edge of the Central West. There are cliffs, waterfalls, caves, viewpoints, and a sense that the plateau is guarding the entrance to another Brazil, one of Cerrado, heat, and geological drama. The Véu da Noiva waterfall is the famous image, but the region is larger than a single postcard. The cliffs glow in late light. The valleys open suddenly. The air can feel dry enough to sharpen every shadow. It is close to a capital city, and yet parts of it feel remote in spirit. Chapada dos Guimarães is a reminder that sometimes the secret is not distance. Sometimes it is scale, and whether you know how to look over the edge. Number 8. Val da Lua, Goiás. In Chapada dos Veadeiros, Val da Lua looks exactly like its name promises, a moon valley. The São Miguel River has sculpted the dark rock into smooth curves, holes, channels, bowls, and strange polished surfaces that seem less eroded than melted. It is not vast like a desert or tall like a mountain. Its power is texture. You walk over stone that looks liquid, shaped by water over immense time. In the dry season, natural pools appear. In dangerous flood conditions, the same beauty can become a trap. Val da Lua is a place where geology becomes almost theatrical. The rock does not just sit there, it performs. Number 7. Val do Pati, Bahia. Vale do Pati in Chapada Diamantina is not a place you visit in the ordinary sense. You cross it. The valley is reached by multi-day hikes, and travelers sleep in the homes of local residents, surrounded by mountains, waterfalls, steep trails, and a silence that makes modern life feel faintly ridiculous. There are no cars waiting at every corner, no easy consumption, no instant exit. The landscape demands legs, lungs, time, and respect. That is why the experience feels different. You are not passing through scenery, you are being measured by it. Val do Pati turns tourism into pilgrimage without needing to say the word. And like all good pilgrimages, it leaves you slightly less certain that comfort was ever the point. Number 6. Poço Azul and Poço Encantado, Bahia. In Chapada Diamantina, Poço Azul and Poço Encantado are caves filled with water so blue it looks illuminated from another dimension. Sunlight enters at certain angles and transforms the flooded chambers into silent cathedrals of color. Poço Azul allows controlled floating, depending on conditions. Poço Encantado is more contemplative, a place to look rather than touch. In both, the effect is nearly religious. Stone, water, darkness, and a beam of light turning geology into revelation. These places are fragile, and their beauty depends on rules. Too many bodies, too much carelessness, and the magic becomes damage. The blue is not there for us. We are merely allowed, briefly, to witness it. Number 5. Monte Roraima. Roraima. Monte Roraima rises at the triple border region of Brazil, Venezuela, and Guyana, like a stone table left behind by gods with severe architectural taste. Its cliffs are vertical, its summit is often wrapped in mist, and its ecosystem feels isolated from the world below. Most treks to the top are done from the Venezuelan side, making the Brazilian relationship with the mountain strangely distant. It belongs partly to the national imagination, but you probably will not approach it casually from Brazil. The mountain-inspired legends, scientific fascination, and the feeling of a lost world because, in a sense, it is one. Up there, rain, rock, strange plants, and fog create a landscape that seems to reject ordinary geography. Monte Roraima is not just remote. It looks like the planet keeping an older version of itself alive. Number 4. Serra da Capivara, Piauí. Serra da Capivara is where Brazil stops being a tropical country and becomes an archive of humanity. In the Caatinga of Piauí, the national park protects an extraordinary concentration of archaeological sites, with rock paintings spread across shelters, cliffs, and stone walls. The park is widely recognized for one of the greatest concentrations of prehistoric sites in the Americas. The landscape itself is severe and beautiful. Canyons, red rock, thorny vegetation, heat, and long views over a dry world. Then, under the shelters, figures appear. Animals, hunters, rituals, movements, traces of people who lived and imagined here thousands of years before Brazil had a name. This place is not hidden because it lacks importance. It is hidden because the country has never fully learned how to look at its own deep past. Serra da Capivara is not a ruin. It is a warning written in pigment. History is much older than the nation. Number 3. Lençóis Maranhenses, Maranhão. Lençóis Maranhenses looks like a contradiction made visible. Endless white dunes, filled with freshwater lagoons. It resembles a desert, but it is shaped by heavy seasonal rains, coastal winds, and water trapped between dunes. In 2024, UNESCO inscribed Lençóis Maranhenses National Park as a World Heritage Site, recognizing its exceptional natural value. The lagoons appear strongest after the rainy season, glowing blue and green between dunes that move like frozen waves. From above, the place looks almost artificial, as if someone painted water into the desert simply to confuse satellites. But Lençóis is not a fantasy. It is a living, changing system, with rules, protected areas, local communities, and difficult access depending on where you enter. It is beautiful because it should not exist in the way it does. And yet, there it is. Brazil's impossible sheet of sand and rain. Number 2. Chapada dos Veadeiros, Goiás. Chapada dos Veadeiros is not only a landscape, it is an atmosphere. In northern Goiás, the park and surrounding region combine cerrado, quartz-rich rock, waterfalls, canyons, hot sun, cold rivers, and a reputation for mysticism that somehow fits the terrain. Chapada dos Veadeiros National Park is part of the UNESCO-listed Cerrado Protected Areas, recognized alongside Imas National Park for protecting important Cerrado ecosystems. But the official title only explains part of the spell. The rest is in the trails, in the black rock, in the sudden waterfalls, in the villages of Alto Paraíso and São Jorge, and in the strange feeling that every road is leading toward either a canyon or a revelation. It is accessible, but not tame. Famous, but not fully understood. Chapada dos Veadeiros is Brazil as energy field, ecological fortress, and myth machine, all under the same violent blue sky. Number 1. Fernando de Noronha, Pernambuco. Fernando de Noronha is famous, yes. Too famous, perhaps. It appears in luxury travel lists, honeymoon fantasies, diving videos, and photographs of water so clear it almost seems arrogant. But the hidden Noronha is not the postcard. The hidden Noronha is the archipelago of restrictions, old prisons, military layers, environmental control, and beaches where beauty is never completely free. The archipelago has a long history as a place of confinement and strategic use, including prison functions and later military importance, before becoming one of Brazil's most protected and desired destinations. Today, much of the area is governed by conservation rules, with the Marine National Park and environmental protections shaping where visitors can go, what they can do, and how the islands survive their own fame. That is what makes Noronha the final revelation. Not because nobody knows it exists, but because most people know only its surface. They see Baía do Sancho, dolphins, cliffs, diving spots, and sunsets. They do not always see the controlled access, the ecological pressure, the ruins, the taxes, the limits, the history of isolation, and the uncomfortable truth that paradise sometimes survives only by saying no. Fernando de Noronha proves the central point of this entire journey. Even Brazil's most famous places have hidden rooms. You can look at the photograph and think you understand it. But the real place is always deeper, stranger, and less obedient than the postcard. And that is the secret of Brazil. It is not only a country of beaches, carnival, jungle, and football. It is a country of river beaches in the Amazon, lunar rocks in Goiás, prehistoric walls in Piauí, blue caves in Bahia, forbidden islands in the Atlantic, and villages protected by bad roads, tides, silence, or law. Maybe that is why hidden places fascinate us. They remind us that the world has not been completely explained, that maps still have shadows, that beauty often survives not because it is easy to reach, but because it is difficult, fragile, inconvenient, or guarded by forces stronger than marketing. Brazil is much larger than its image, and sometimes, to really see it, you have to leave the postcard behind and follow the dirt road, the river bend, the cave mouth, the tide, the canyon wall, or the sign that says, "You may look, but you may not enter."